Hi everyone. Welcome to today's meditation session. The topic of today is the inherent restlessness of the I thought. And we are all masters knowing what this entails. We all are very familiar with our restlessness and also all the ways in which we are trying to appease this restlessness. And I would like to remind each one of us that this restlessness is ongoing because the I thought is disconnected, seemingly disconnected from its source. And this disconnection is what gives us the illusion of separateness. And throughout our pathless path, we dare to open ourselves to the different domains of the I, which are also domains of energy. And by cleansing these energies, we see that our outside reflection slowly changes, becomes different, our lives change. And in any given moment, all we can do is connect back to that substratum. Substratum is that backdrop, which is your true self, true being. And anytime you move out of there, because we are in it, it's not like we're gonna start to get to know our true self tomorrow or after you meditated 30 years. It's always here, it's always accessible. But due to this inherent restlessness of the mind, or the I thought, that person who you think you are, is too easily distracted by the outside world. It still believes that there is an outside world. And it still believes that it's a separate body. And as you're stepping deeper and deeper into yourself, experiencing yourself as the self, which means slowly your experiential reality will merge the inside and outside. This is really deep. We are trying to point at this state with words, but words can not explain it. It has to be experienced. The inside and the outside becomes one. And for those moments in your life, in your existence, you feel boundless. you feel less restricted by your I thought. We are experiencing solar storms. A high intensity of light information is hitting the planet, and what it does, and then we have the new full moon, which is also another intensity. There's a car alarm as well. So all of these intensities are happening in the outside world in order for us to be entraining, to deepening into ourself. Because what I personally am noticing is that the chaos is becoming more avid, more harsh, more all-encompassing. And for some of us who've lived a certain amount of years, and even if we look back in history, the I thought had been given so much precedence, so much power, so much attention, that our entire culture, our entire mode of existence is, well, I don't even have to say this in the West, because now it's global. There is no West and East. And we have to notice that our lifestyles became molded by the lunacy of the I thought. We moved, it's almost like it's a deriding of consciousness, it's a densification of consciousness. This is what the Indian tradition calls the Kali Yuga. Kali is, of course, this goddess of death, but of course she is so inevitable for the birth of the new, the birth of the Sat Yuga, which is the golden age. And what I'm being taught, and maybe I can share this with you, is that all of this lunacy that is maybe taking place in the world, in your personal lives, in our families, workspaces, is calling out. It's a calling out for you to become aware of the source of the I thought. I thought. And in our sessions, we deal with consciousness, and then we deal with energy. Consciousness is, of course, consciousness work is everything. And energy is more like a purification of this inherent densification of our consciousness. So the less densified our energy field is, then you have an openness, a loving oneness with your being. And today we're going to move deeper and deeper, allow this inherent restlessness to be here as it is here. But at the same time, we can plunge directly, and this is a key. This is the teaching of the Advaita Vedanta. That as you plunge into the immediacy of yourself, meaning the restlessness of the I thought, slowly dissolving in the backdrop of the self, which is that one true, unchanging, non-object subject, you start liberating your I thought. into your true being. So it's almost like, imagine it's like you're dropping a piece of, the square sugar cubes into hot tea. And the sugar cube is your I thought, which is your ego. The ego is one with the mind is one with the body. And then the body, the mind, the ego is your life, is your projection of reality. So this sugar cube starts dissolving. And depending on how warm that water is, that's how fast the dissolution is happening. So I would call that warmth the fire that we all inherently have. Because so this is how far we can go with the ego, the I thought. We can go as far as knowing that the I thought cannot know the self. So it knows that paradox, because the self is not an object. So once you are liberated, there is no you. So you cannot even be liberated. The you cannot be liberated. But it's good to come to that point where we land the question, can thought know itself? And slowly, as we are melting that sugar cube, we don't have to talk about the health benefits or the non-benefits of sugar now. That's beside the point. As we're melting that cube, we're moving from heaviness to lightness. And we're also moving to this immense simplicity and depth that each now moment presents us with. And all of this is not to be understood through concepts. So notice in what regard you're still clinging to concepts. And if the mind goes like, oh, I get it, and then the next moment the mind goes like, oh, but I didn't get it right, like I need to understand it more. So just notice all of these restless fluctuations in the field, because none of it really matters. Okay, so let's address the restlessness and then melt that sugar cube. And anytime you meet your own restlessness, you become the space in which the restlessness takes place. And restlessness can be anything, you name it, your experiential world, whether it be your inner world or outer world. We're moving back into the frequency, the mother and father frequencies today. And we can close our eyes and allow to drop our attention and focus more to the back body. And we have a full moon, and during full moon we can also make an intention what we can leave behind, what can be clear, delete from our energy fields. We can connect to our higher self. I connect to my higher self and know that we're not moving or posing a future time frame. All we're doing is remembering what is here now. Beautiful. It's good to feel either your feet on the floor, or you can also lie down. Just allow yourself to stay awake. Sit comfortably and allow throughout this process, this sugar cube to start melting. And what happens? I'm gonna guide you to your immediate experience. So as you're sitting, allow your palms to be facing upward. This is how you receive pure energy, pure being, pure openness. So as you start breathing, not start breathing, but start becoming aware of your breath. Thus, the breath is slowing down, and you're not modulating your breath in any way with your will. We are also aligning our will with the will of one. And know that once we're aligning energetically with the will of one, which is the multiversal law of goodness, beauty, truth, and love, our suffering starts diminishing. And that is a very, very, very direct barometer. The barometer how much you're suffering, meaning how much heed and identification you're paying to your I thought, and thus to its restlessness. We call in the essence of our higher self, we embody our higher self. And we sit around a fire of consciousness that is burning, allowing the space of openness, the space of truthfulness to be here now. And we connect to our Mother, Father, God, Self. And I ask, Mother, Father, God, please open all channels of light and oversee and overlight this meditation and transmission. And only the highest good of all can come through this meditation, transmission. The highest teaching, the truth, and love that each one of us needs at this now moment shall be introduced, remembered, to grace us with the recognition of our true being. When you meet truth, you know it because it's inherently known. There's this beautifully exquisite light pink rose just beside me. This is the Father Flame, the pink, allowing our heart space to be flooded with this pink ray of the Father. The gentle flame of the pink ray is allowing us to open our heart space. The heart space becoming this vanishing point, but it is flooding everything with this pink light. Calling all of the energies from the front body into itself. As you see, there's this middle of the rose is the vanishing point. It's like the vacuity, the emptiness of the nucleus. And as you know, beauty arises from sheer nothingness. And this is that dimensional play that we are now getting to know intrinsically. How the noumenal, which is the non-manifest, awareness, consciousness, allows everything to come into being. Allow your shoulder space and head space to fall into this bed of rose petals. The shoulders let go, the tension in the arms and the fingers. And we can start appreciating the breath that is still here, gracing you, deepening you, allowing you to experience yourself as yourself is actually more immediate than your breath. It's more immediate than the air. It's even more immediate than your overall feeling, experiential feeling of your body. And here and now we can drop all the concepts, all the beliefs, all of our judgments, allowing this pristine, light pink vortex in your chest to deepen. It's a magical vortex, as each one of us are magicians, as we are the noumenal, the non-existent, dreaming the world into being. And we allow this beautiful pink emanation of the Father ray to start penetrating all of your dimensions, activating the 12th dimensional shield of protection. Whereas you don't even need protection because you know your true being. Know that the veils between dimensions are immensely thin. Now, these membranes exist and don't exist at the same time. From the point of view of consciousness, they don't exist. From your I thought identification, they still exist. Ramana Maharshi taught that the seat of the I thought is in your heart space. And I will not specify any further where in your heart space. You figure it out. Because it's a space and a non-space at the same time, so we do not have to localize. But right now, as your awareness is drawn to any certain experience, for example, like a tightness in the chest or a little pain underneath your shoulder blades or any restrictive feeling around your heart area. Just allow yourself to experience. And Raman also taught us that once we allow ourselves to experience the source of the I thought, we unravel the truth of who we are. And we know the simplicity of that unchanging truth. This field right now, this co-joined quantum field, is allowing you to melt your I thought into the ocean of the self. When we have the phenomenon of the individuated fractal, the so-called being, person, the self, or God, Mother, Father, God, parades as a person, as a father, mother, lover, child, you name it. And all of that is taking place in the dream that we are dreaming, weaving. We have been weaving this dream for many, many, many thousands of years. We have even lived on different planets, been embodied and non-embodied. And in this field, the only thing you can know, surely, that you are. Not that you are this and that, but that step before. You know that you are. And that are, or being, notice, does that being limit itself to the boundary between your skin in the outside world. Or as you start inhabiting your body from head to toe with your loving awareness. It's not even a feeling, it's deeper than a feeling. It's being. It is that being which you cannot get rid of. Even when you die, you cannot get rid of being, the self. The heart space is expanding as wide as the body. And as the body is the access into all the dimensions, we are allowing all of these mind modulations on the surface of our being, all of these sensations and thoughts, feelings that may arise, our fears, our boredom, our jadedness, even our curiosity. To slowly dissolve its contours into this sea of pink luminescence. It has a golden tinge, but it's so pristine and clean. So that these contours, for example, of sadness, are starting to be penetrated by this father flame, and sadness becomes accepted, and sadness becomes allowed, becomes neutralized, and it's slowly being transformed into openness and joy, vibrancy. We can call in all of the rigid mind field from above your head back into the heart space. Allowing the head to collapse back into the heart. This is how you give birth to a higher intelligence, which is you. This is where you find your artistic expression, your authenticity, which is all synonymous with your love. Love is not an imposed feeling, it's just a being, because your being is so gentle, just like this rose. It's gentle, it's reverent, it's wise. We're calling in the mother ray, which is this blue aquamarine ray, meeting this pink ray in your heart. It's mixed with gold and emerald green. And you don't have to see it. But you have this first-hand experience of your expansiveness. This one unified heart field. Is one with the heart of Mother Gaia. The womb of the multiverse. The 0 point. That birthplace that is birthing space and time. Have the courage to fall into this vanishing point. It's a 0 point. It's like a tabula rasa, clean slate. You can melt all of your identities, your past, your clinging. You can free your neuronal pathways. And now we're going to allow this upsurge or better said, implosive quality of the Mother-Father ray into every single cell, nucleus of the body, and it's imploding your plasma light body, which does not have any boundaries. Unite with your plasma light body. This is what your consciousness uses as its less densified form. And as your heart is imploding, because the vanishing point is imploding all lower vibrations right now, it is allowing, if you allow, this expansiveness to melt these rigid edges of the ego self. Know that the ego is that vehicle through which you are choosing to tap into artificial timelines. Everything is artificial if it is not of the highest good of all. And your heart space is now imploding into the backside of your head, surging its might into the brain, and you are allowing all of these onion peels, these veils, membranes that have been obstructing your direct oneness with the self, to start just falling off. As if your skull was an onion. And these dead, rigidified walls, energies are just falling, crumbling. And what is revealed is your light. allowing now the threefold flame, the Mother, the Father, and the Christed Child, to open from your sternum, your higher heart, yeah, it's an allowing. You are allowed to experience your being. As your being has no boundaries, mm, and now the predominant gold, photonic, crystalline, diamond, golden being, light of your soul, is called back into this body vessel, embodying you, your soul is immensely big, immensely powerful, calling it in deeper and deeper. We ask the assistance of the Oversoul, the luminescence of your soul allows all the mirage to melt. It says it needs to still melt the heartache first. Allow to feel your heart again, and allow to feel a heart in your sacral center, which is your womb or hara for men. There's the same heart beating. We're collapsing all the parallel timelines that do not adhere to the highest good of all. Feel your heart now more avidly in your belly. Your heart says, oh good, I needed to come this deep into the darkness as well. Drop your heart into the root and the sacral area. Maybe the heart was always running from these dark places. And it's very simple. Just turn on the light. And you feel the effulgence of your own soul. It's now in your body. This is called the resurrection. Feel the simplicity of your being. The simplicity is felt in the silence of your being. This silence is magnetic. It's calling. All of the restlessness of the I thought back into itself. It's also patching up all of the bleeding wounds of the ego self. But this one is a quantum magician. Your luminosity, it doesn't need a band-aid. It instantly transforms. your deepest pain, into unconditional love. Just feel that. Allow yourself to start falling, 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 without a place to land, into this eminent, imminent, field of love. It's unconditional. It's all allowing. And it doesn't need your emotions. Emotions are welcome. But it allows you to come as you are. Come as you are. That was Jesus's message. We're all given this blessing by Mother, Father, God to resurrect our pain, our suffering, our lack, our desires, our restlessness, into the sea of love. Start weaving your more direct love affair as the truth of yourself is penetrating deeper and deeper crevices of your heart. It's becoming a more ferocious lover. It's burning everything up that is not in alignment with the highest love of Mother, Father, God. The frequencies are really high. Resurrecting yourself into the love of your being. So it is. I ask Mother, Father, God to seal this transmission in all the four corners and four directions, allowing all this light information to be utilized in our cellular memory, utilized on this 3D plane. I ask for direct embodiment, moment to moment. As we rewrote our cellular memory and upgraded our DNA, thank the presence of our higher selves, our guides, Mother, Father, God, our bodies, for this co-creation. I now ask to disconnect our co-joint energy field, and I ask that each body be able to sustain this luminosity, this presence, awareness, loving, peaceful, awareness, consciousness. can stay deepening into your own being, just practicing this being so that it doesn't need meditation. This beautiful space of peace, silent, loving simplicity. Allow as much time as you need to be one with this healing space and continue abiding in it. Namaste. Let the luminescence of the self be shining through all that we do. See you tomorrow for a practical embodiment session.